welcome to Spark TV.
Thank you so much.
I am so excited to share your story because I've been a long time stalker of yours on Instagram. And so I'm so glad that we get to share this time together.
Thank you. That's very exciting.
So good. So let's start out by telling everyone who you are and what you do.
Well, thank you. I'm Tara. So I am the founder and lead hair and makeup artist of Lash Makeup. And I am also the owner of the Lip Lab Perth. So we provide hair and makeup services for events, bridal and photographic services. And we also make custom makeup in the form of lip gloss, lipstick, foundation, concealer, liquid blush. That's about it.
I love it. So, and again, from my stalking, I could come in and literally design the color of my dreams. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yes. So with the lipsticks, the only color that we can't make is highlighter green. Don't get asked
No,
for that.
damn
Yeah,
it.
don't get asked for that too often though. So it's okay.
Mhm.
But yes, the idea is that you can come in and select the texture of your lipstick, and then we create the shade in front of you. You try it on a little bit until we get it right. And then we make you a lipstick or a lip gloss. Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. And this
It is
sounds
cool.
like such a fun group activity as
Yeah.
well.
Yes, absolutely. So we do loads of hens parties and corporate events. We do like a bubbles and nibbles package, so you can come in with your best GFs and just spend an afternoon playing with makeup, basically.
Oh my God, that sounds like the dream. Far
Yeah,
better than what I have planned to do for the rest of the day.
yeah, me too.
Oh my God, hilarious. So how did you actually get into this? So you've talked about, hairstyling, makeup, artistry, business, and in the retail space. How did this all transpire?
So I suppose I'll give you like an abridged version, or we would probably be here all afternoon. Um, but when I left school, I studied makeup artistry, and I didn't really do very much with that qualification. That was nearly 30 years ago, so there wasn't a lot out there. And then when I had my fourth child, I was looking to, I actually had a role in the finance sector, and I was on maternity leave from my third child when I had him. And I just needed to find something that was going to work better with our family. We had four small children, and it was just not going to manage, I wasn't going to manage a 40-hour a week office job.
Yeah.
So I refreshed my qualifications and I started Lash Makeup. And I built that business up. I did some hair qualifications 2 years into that journey because I realized that there were lots of people who just really wanted one person to do both. And then at the end of 2022, the Lip Lab went up for sale. And I had already started, I do a lot of private lessons in the makeup artistry side. And most of the time when I was educating people, they would say to me, if you just had the products to buy from you, I would just get it from you rather than you telling me what to get at Mecca.
Mm.
So I'd started sort of thinking to myself, how can I create a white label product that's just some basics that people can put in their kit so that when I'm teaching them what to do on a day-to-day basis, they have something that they can trust and use. And then saw that the Lip Lab was for sale and just thought straight away, that's for me. I need to do that. And so we purchased the business in March last year. And since then it's just been an absolute roller coaster.
Yeah, holy crap. So talk to me about the buying the business process, because we talk a lot about starting a business here,
Yes, yeah.
but not a lot about buying into something that's already established. What was that process like, and what pitfalls should we be aware of?
Wow, so many. I think, do you know what? Like, it's so funny, isn't it? Because we always say you don't know what you don't know. And I think in buying a business, like that has never been more apparent to me. I am a very trusting person. So whilst I don't sort of classify myself as a stupid person, I also don't think that people are going out of their way to deceive me or to
Mm.
do things that are not in my best interest. So there were quite a few things that probably didn't go to plan or were omitted. And in fairness, that was as much because we didn't know to ask the right questions.
Yeah. Yep.
There were a couple of things that we hired a lawyer at the time to go through all the contracts and the lease and all the rest of it. But there were a few things that the lawyer probably said, oh, I would do this, that we ignored because we were like, oh, they're not, trying to do anything untoward. They're not trying to do anything that would be negatively impacting me. So yeah, so my joke is like, if you hire a lawyer, like just do what they tell you to do.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how we bring in these experts and then we
Yeah,
don't listen to what they tell us to do?
absolutely. I mean, but like, it's so funny because so often I think about when I'm doing someone's makeup or I'm teaching them or I'm doing like a bride and like you will give them advice and then they don't do it. And you're like, yeah, well, that's what I told you to do. Like, but it was the same. It was the shoe was on the other foot.
Wow. Isn't it
Yeah.
funny? Why do we do this to ourselves?
I don't
We think
know.
we know better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I
Wow.
just think like it's probably like, do get experts to help you like
Mm.
in if you've never done it before, absolutely. Like I've learned a lot. So yeah, so definitely heed the advice of the experts that you hire, I think would be my number one tip. And don't necessarily go into agreements thinking that people, and I'm not saying like that they're like definitely trying to do something bad by you, but like they're looking after themselves, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a really good way to put it. It's not that they're particularly malice, it's that
Yes,
they want to get the best outcome for them.
correct.
It's no longer their business.
Yeah.
Wow. That is really good advice, actually. How have you found the difference between, yeah, running your own business and perhaps in more of a can do it from anywhere kind of vibe into that retail space where now you have the lease, fixed costs, assets, inventory? What's that difference
Staff.
been like?
Yeah. So like in Blacklash, I have 4 subcontractors that work for me, which is an amazing setup. We have an amazing team, but obviously they're subcontractors. So I pay them when they do a job.
Mhm.
So we've moved to a space and we've literally just moved into a brand new space actually, because the space that we were in wasn't big enough for me to do what I wanted to do with the business. So yeah, now I have rent, I have staff that I have to pay, fixed costs. So that's all been a big learning curve. I have to know my numbers a lot better than I did probably with the sole trader thing.
Yeah.
Simply because, yeah, like there's things that whether I am making lipsticks or not, I have to pay for them. Yeah.
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 Full on. The
Yeah.
joys. The
Yeah.
joy. And what about the difference between finding new customers? Have you found that any different from the makeup, hair business to retail?
Um, I think I have to be sorry, there was a little midgie there. That's why my arm's
That's all right.
up.
That's all right. We'll just
Yeah, I was like, oh, waving.
all got our
Um,
hands.
so I think like I actually think it's quite similar. It's
Mm,
it's a very similar demographic that I'm talking to, which is
mm,
helpful.
yes.
So like my ideal client is not necessarily completely different. I do have to be a lot more consistent with
Mm,
the marketing. Like I could get away with being a little bit slack with the backlash side of things. I had built up my clientele to be quite a regular clientele, which was good, and a referring clientele, which was amazing. Funny enough, since we've moved into the new store 4 weeks ago, and I've moved my makeup artistry business out of my house and into the store, it's almost a little bit like I'm starting again because I had a lot of local clientele that I've now moved
oh,
into a CBD store that are not necessarily going to come there for their brother's birthday party. Like,
yes.
it's different. So I have got some clients that traveled a long way to come to my home studio that were like, oh, great. The city is actually easier for me. Um, But yeah, so it's juggling the two and like
Mm.
making sure that we're consistent on both ends now. I think where we've moved to in the new space has got a lot more foot traffic, which has been amazing. So that's definitely helped a lot.
Yeah, that's really interesting because in my mind, I thought, oh, great. Now you've kind of got this upsell opportunity for people that were a customer. Now they can come in and have these experiences, they can buy the product. But that's really interesting. I never thought about that change of location will certainly impact some people. Some people
Yes.
definitely buy for convenience over
Yes.
loyalty. Mm,
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Like I've got like a clientele that are my regular clients that will always come to see me, which is
yeah.
lovely. But yeah, there is definitely an aspect of being like when you're working from a home studio of being like, oh, it's convenient because you're 10 minutes down the road, or like I can walk
Mm.
there, and I'm not gonna go to Rain Square for that. I'll just find someone else 10 minutes down the road. Because there's lots of us around now.
Yeah. So how do you reach new people? Social media or what other strategies are you using?
Yeah, so I do a lot of social media is like a very big thing, like it's like a regular thing. I do Facebook advertising for my bridal clients because it's
Mhm.
not really I don't really find it for like event makeup, it's not profitable for
Yeah.
like a one makeup. But I use Facebook ads for my bridal clients. I do loads of networking. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I was a relationship manager in my finance role, so that was kinda like my bread and butter was networking. And so as soon as I started my business, I got myself into different, networking groups in Perth, um, and have sort of built my network that way.
I love that. What would be, because I know some people hate the word networking because they
Mm.
visualize walking into a room of hundreds of people and they're like, oh my God, I have to go and make small talk with these people that I don't know. Do you have any tips for making networking a little bit less confronting?
Um, so I think you have to find the right group.
Yeah,
Um,
that's good
and
advice.
you can really see by the way people talk in their social media, and if you're looking at advertising, if you're looking on LinkedIn, you can really see what type of networking it is. So like if you're walking into a channel where they're expecting you to come every month with 3 referrals,
Oh
you know,
God.
yeah,
No.
like those
Run, run.
yeah, don't love that environment. But you can spot that from the
Mm.
genuine connection networking. Like you can really see by the types of wording that they're using and the types of comments on the posts and the way people are interacting with the posts. You can see the difference. So that would be my number one thing. My second thing would be, and like a lot of people won't resonate with this, but I did not want to have to go back to my finance job. I really needed my business to work because I wanted to be home with my 4 children. And so for me, and this is kind of how I approached it in my finance role as well, it was like, this is how you build your business. This is how you keep your job. This is how you meet your KPIs. Like you need to go into, and I am I describe myself as an extroverted extrovert. So
Right.
granted, it
Yes.
is a lot easier for me than it is for other people, but I just did not give myself any choice. I had
Mm.
to go in and I had to find somebody that I clicked with. Um, and that there was no option for me because it was important that my business worked.
I love that. Sometimes we have to say to ourselves, this is what it takes.
Yeah.
Do you want it or not? You
Yeah.
know, you should like
Yeah.
kind of give ourselves a little bit of tough love.
We
You
can
know,
do hard things.
we can do hard
Yeah.
things. And I think, unfortunately, business is hard 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But we can do it. We can do
Yeah.
it. And I think that networking is amazing. And it's one of the tools that a lot of people attribute to success because it can also, if you kind of move past the idea of, oh, I have to go and talk to random people that I don't know, the idea of just talking to random people and building relationships is actually pretty cool. When you think of it
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of the things that you have to do in your business,
Yeah.
chatting is not
Super
so
fun.
bad.
Super fun. And you could also find, like, there's so many networking groups and communities that are just women, like,
Yeah.
if that makes you feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, like, not all men groups with men, but, like, they can be a bit like, "Here's my business card." Like,
Mhm.
I feel the women-led communities are a bit more about a genuine connection and meeting people and really being interested in what others do. But you will also find that probably over 60% of the room feel exactly the same way that you do.
Yeah.
I'm in the minority where I
Yeah.
enjoy it. Like, most people are feeling nervous, are feeling anxious, are feeling like, "Oh my God, I have to put myself out there." So there's not really, you don't need to
We're
be
all
worried.
in the same boat.
We're all in,
Yeah. And the
yeah,
other thing I like about women's networking groups as well is there's a bunch of virtual stuff available now. So if you're
absolutely.
really struggling, like getting on a Zoom call
Yeah,
with a network might be easier, or,
yeah,
typing in a forum might be easier, or going to social media might be easier. So there are ways to network virtually as well now, which I think is
yeah.
amazing.
Like, I love your little emails that are like, "Bring wine."
Yeah, totally. Hello, that's the best way to network.
Exactly. Bring one, and you don't have to drive anywhere after. Thumbs
Yeah.
up.
So good, so good. You can I've got like pajama pants on right now and slippers.
Yeah.
So this is a fantastic way to
Yeah.
network. Oh, I love it. What do you think has been the biggest challenges that you've faced over these years of running your businesses?
Wow. Okay. So, well, there's the I did a talk recently where I did, like, I finished it with, like, I'd been in business for 7 years, so I did seven lessons. And the first lesson that I had was that business is not linear. So, like, when we
Mm.
first start, we kind of think, "Oh, I've just got to get all my systems in place. And then I've just got to nail my marketing, or I've just got to secure, like, a really good team. And then from there, it will just be this upward trajectory." And
Skyrocket.
that, like, that's like a fool's errand that we've been sold, because
Mm.
business is like this. No matter whether you've been in for 2 years or 20 years, that's how business is. So, like, I think that was like a mindset shift for me that I had to get over quite early on. Um, but also, like, I had a beauty and events business, or, like, in the event space during COVID. Um,
Mm.
so
Fun.
it was like, yeah, that was like a double whammy, like, beauty for brides in
Oh my
COVID.
God. Oh my God. I know
Yeah.
you just can't foresee the stuff that happens in the
No.
bloody business world, can you? It's just an outrage.
Like, I
But it
think
is,
I think when you take the time to reflect, you're like, "Yeah, I did that." Like,
yeah.
I made that through. So, like, that was pretty tough. I think definitely, having 4 children and taking on the Lip Lab, um, has been a lot. Like, I think towards the end of last year, I was like, "Wow, I am pretty burnt out." Like,
Mm.
this has definitely been a lot. So I think there's always those challenges of making sure that you are looking after yourself as well as looking after your family and keeping your businesses running. Um, but yeah, like, I know when things get really, really hard, that's usually a sign that when we come out the other side, we get, there's a little bit of growth, right? So I
Mhm.
think it's just that perseverance.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you deal with burnout? Like how did you deal with burnout but still keep the kids alive and the businesses alive?
Um, I'm probably not the best person to.
Don't worry,
I
I'm the worst as well.
I like to see myself as a very capable person. So,
Mhm.
like, the number one thing people say to me is like, "Oh my God, how do you do it?" Like, well, I just keep doing it is probably the response, which is not.
Isn't it funny? The best way to do the thing is to do the thing, you
Yeah,
know? Yeah.
yeah. We do have a holiday once a year. Like, I've got a holiday coming up at the end of August where we're actually having a really big holiday. So
Oh,
I probably burnt out like a month ago, to be honest, with like the whole new store renovation and moving into the new store and everything. But we've got our grand opening this weekend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I keep saying to the kids, we've just got to get through the next 5 weeks. And then like
Yeah.
Monday was like, we've just got to get through the next 4 weeks, right? Like it's just 4 weeks. So like, yeah, I think you do need to make sure that you have a light at the end of the tunnel. Like if you've got
Yeah.
no break coming, like you're never going to make it. And I know that I have a really decent break coming. I'm also one of those people that when I get to the airport, if it's not done, it doesn't matter. I can,
Let it go.
flick that
Mm,
switch. Yeah. Which some people can't, but I'm very good at going, oh, well,
yes.
no one's going to die. So yeah, so I think that is probably what keeps me going. I
I
do
love
try
it.
to
And
exercise.
yeah, oh God, I'd love to be the 5 a.m. wake up, meditate, journal kind of gal, but
Yeah.
not for me. It's more
Yeah.
coffee and run.
I do try to do it twice a week. Like I was doing Pilates and then like that kind of like got a bit way-sided. So now I'm trying to do like a 15-minute, like whatever I've Googled,
Ah,
like a
that's cool.
15-minute hit workout. Can I get that in somewhere?
Yeah.
Twice a week. So I've done something.
And I feel like there's as much mental benefit as there is physical benefit. Like just stopping for 15
Yeah.
minutes, doing something for yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like that actually compounds.
Yeah.
So I love the 15-minute workout. I do that with yoga. I just Google, like
Yeah.
do yoga search on YouTube. And if it's over 20 minutes, I won't do it. I'm like, I just want
Yeah.
something so like by
Yeah.
the time I'm getting tired, it's finished.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that approach.
I think there's something as well so powerful that when you start something like that, like saying to yourself, this is like me taking time for me. Because sometimes I would go to those
Mm,
5:30 Pilates classes and be like, I don't want to be here. Why am I here? It's dark, it's cold. Like I cannot be bothered doing this for 45 minutes. And
yes.
like just reminding myself that this is the time that I've put aside for me,
Mm,
like makes me go, oh, okay. Yeah. Because when you go home, like there is no time for you.
no.
None of the rest of the time is for you. So this is it.
Yeah, I know. And it is funny though, how finding that 45 minutes or finding that hour by the time you drive there and back, which is
Yeah.
why I choose YouTube because
Yeah.
I can do it in my pajamas. I'm not traveling. Like I can just
And
show up
there's so
as it
much on
is.
there.
Yeah, totally.
There's something for everybody.
Yeah. And something
Absolutely.
depending on the vibe you're in as well. Like some days I'm like, I need the kind of yoga that's just lying flat on my back doing nothing. And
Yeah.
some days I'm like, oh, no, I've got some pain. I need
Yeah.
to stretch around a bit. And you can kind
Yeah.
of just judge it versus going into a class and it's like all out for 45
Yeah.
minutes.
And you're like, oh, do I have to do that bit?
Yeah, totally. That's actually why I love yoga. I once heard a yoga instructor and she said something like, it's just with yoga, it's just showing up, and you can just do whatever, feels right for you and your
Yeah.
body. And I was like, that's my kind of workout.
Yeah. So
Oh,
good.
amazing. I love it. Well, I always love to wrap up these chats with one last piece of advice.
Yep.
So, reflecting on your time in business, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to another woman in business on her journey?
Oh God, one piece. Oh God. I always like think of these and then like, a million things happen. One is
You can do multiple, you can do anything you like.
one piece of advice. Look, I think I'll go with don't like when I started my like a couple of years into my business, like I always thought that doing more training in my field was like the way to go. Like, training
Mhm.
under other makeup artists to see the way other makeup artists do things, or like I took on hair training and those sorts of things. And like that stuff is good. Like I'm not saying don't like revisit your skill set or don't try and improve. But when you're building your business, the best thing that you can pay someone to help you with is stuff that you don't know. So
Mhm.
like getting like a person, if you like are crap at systems like I am, paying someone to help you with your systems is far better than paying someone to do what you are already good at. Or like getting a business coach if you feel like you need some mindset work or something like that. Because I think I was a couple of years in before I sort of realized like I am a good enough makeup artist. Like I can do makeup.
Mhm, mhm.
And while it's always great to work on that skill set, paying someone to help me with the things in my business that I was not good at and I was not getting around to because I kept putting them off because I wasn't good at them, was far more beneficial.
I love that because you're right. Sometimes when we're not good at things, we do push them to the bottom of the
We
pile.
absolutely do. Yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes, unfortunately, they can be the really critical things like getting new business, doing our accounts, all of those things that you kind of get to the end of the quarter and go, oh crap, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Yep. Marketing, so you actually get clients, like,
Yes. Oh my God, I could not agree more. Tara, you are amazing.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for coming on the Spark TV podcast and sharing your story with the Spark community. It's
Thank you
incredible.
so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been a fun chat.
Anytime, and we will share all of your links so that people can come and visit you as well.
That'd be amazing.